So let's take that notion. Come, gracious Spirit, sweep over the world. Sweep over me, sweep over this room. We know that the presence of Spirit is always here, always with us, always all over the world. It's only up to us to recognize that, to know and to acknowledge that divine Spirit is here. When we wake to it and we become aware of it sweeping through us, over us, in and through this room, in and through the world. Let's take that awareness of Spirit as us, acting in and through us, into a couple of minutes of silence. As we return our awareness to this place and time, we know that the peace of the place we just were is accessible to us in any moment. We just need to make a decision to go there. We affirm Spirit in us and as us. We give thanks for that knowing. We give thanks for all that is. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
One of the things I like about that song, Sweep Over My Soul, Come Gracious Spirit, as I got to be, I feel like I'm echoing, go down just a little bit. As I got to be a young adult, the word God did not resonate with me because I had been brought up in a religion in which God was really kind of mean a lot of the time. But when I was introduced to this word Spirit, I could take that one with me and I could hold on to that. And I still find myself feeling that way. I'm okay, I'm better with God now because I'm in a new awareness of what that can mean. And this word Spirit still really resonates with me in a very loving, kind of friendly way. So I appreciate that song. The title of my talk today is What Power Within You? We're looking at this book, Discover the Power Within You by Butterworth. And we're looking at that for our first 3 months of the year. And we're working with it also in our Wednesday Faith Lift. So today I really wanted to give us kind of a grounding of where Butterworth is coming from in this book. Now, this must have been one of his first books. It was first published in the early 60s. Yes, in the 60s. He kept writing and wrote book after book after book. This, going back, this was the first book I read in the study group at Unity in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And I underlined and I underlined and I highlighted. And I've read a number of his other books since then. And it seems to me that what he did in this first book is, it's sort of like everything he felt and knew, boom, went into this book. And then he started sifting and teasing things out in his books that followed. So this is really a reintroduction to all of Eric Butterworth. So there's a lot in this book. What power within you? So there's the book. And here's something he says, pretty much right off. It's in the introduction of the first chapter. You must come to believe about yourself what Jesus believed about himself. Wow. That's big, isn't it? Yes. That's big. We had our daily word this morning, opportunity. What was that affirmation? It fits so well. The affirmation, I open my mind and heart to dynamic new ideas. Okay, is this a dynamic new idea? I must come to believe about myself what Jesus believed about himself. Say that with me.
I must come to believe about myself what Jesus believed about himself.
I get goosebumps when I start to work with that. Because Jesus knew he was divine.
Yes.
He knew it. He knew it in his bones. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as we go forward. But Eric Butterworth doesn't leave us there. That's not enough of a challenge for Eric Butterworth. He goes on to say, this book is not about something to believe. It is about something to do. Okay, because part of his whole thing at the beginning of this book is, a lot of what religions do is believe, right?
Yes.
What do I believe? What do I believe? What do I believe in? Oh, I believe in Jesus.
No.
What am I doing with that? And that's really where unity, the fifth principle. It's not enough to know and believe these principles. It is ours to do. It is ours to act on these principles. So it's not just about something to believe, but also about something to do. Those who turn to religion are motivated by the deep-seated urge to express more of what we inherently are. Right? So we know that about us. We're drawn to something. We're drawn here to unity. And just given that, we come with this package of an urge to express more of what and who we inherently are. Okay? And we might look a little different sometimes. We might feel a little different sometimes. We might feel different one day than another day. So here's the big question, right? What did Jesus believe about himself? Butterworth says, we totally misread Jesus' life and teachings if we fail to realize that he was first of all a student on the quest. So we can start with that when we ask, what did Jesus believe about himself? He knew he was a student. He also knew he was here on this planet to learn from others. He went to the temple to learn. Okay? He knew that. He also knew he was here to learn what it meant to be human, what it meant to be among us, what it meant to have those emotions when his friend Lazarus died. The shortest book in the Bible, Jesus wept. He was here to experience all of that and learn that. So, is that part of what we're doing here? Absolutely. Here to learn about ourselves, about each other, about new things that are going on, about something new we want to explore. So, I like this. we got to throw a little levity in, right? So baby Jesus studying with his sheep. So, he knew he was here as a student. He knew that. Just like we're here as students, and we're here to learn. So we have that foundation of similarity that we can start with when we ask, what did Jesus know about himself? Jesus said, I am the light of the world. Okay? What does that mean for us?
I am the light of the world.
What if we each say that with me? I am the light of the world. Is it a little bit hard? No? No? No. Okay, good. Some days it might be. Some days we might not feel like the light of the world. And that's also part of what it is to live here on this planet and experience that. I am the light of the world. How do we get to be the light of the world?
By being ourselves.
By being ourselves.
We're born caring about others.
We're born into it by caring about others.
By speaking truth.
By speaking truth.
By bringing truth.
By
By
Prayer.
praying for the world.
Prayer.
Mhm.
Maybe sometimes by being a light for someone who's having a hard time shining theirs that day.
That's right.
You know, that's some of what?
How?
By being a light for someone else when they're having a hard time shining their light. Oh, and you're asking how? That's part of what we do when we pray for someone else.
Yes.
Right?
And when you lend a helping hand.
Yep.
Yeah.
That we hold that light for someone else who
Yes.
can't see it right then. And we affirm that they will recognize it will shine brightly again. But we hold that for other people in our lives. And they might be having a hard time. And we can't hold it for someone else if we don't know we're it.
That's
We do,
right.
right?
Yes.
That I am the light. I am the light of the world. I am a light in the world. Maybe that's a way we can put it too, because then we also recognize each of us is a light. So say that with me.
I am a light in the world.
Okay? And we get to decide every day how we're to let that light shine. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Wow. Can we be that? The way, the truth, and the life. The way, the truth, and the life. One way I can bring this home to myself is to say, I am my way. And that's, pushing that ego business out of the side, but I am my divine way. Right? I am my divine way, my divine truth, my divine life. Some of these we have to be careful because we can get to think that we're more important than anyone else. And that's not what this is. We are.
We are.
We totally.
We
as
are.
we come
As
together.
a total.
We are.
We are the way.
We are the way.
We are the way, the truth, and the life. That helps.
What does it mean? Does this, some people have, I've heard it, like some church or something, say, I am the way, the truth, and the life, means that only Jesus is the way, the truth. I don't understand it. How does it mean? I don't understand.
Okay, so
I have a problem with that 14:6. It's
Is it?
been used for years, incorrectly
Oh.
translated.
Stop
from the
seeing yourself as
original
separate.
Arabic.
Don't
You
see
know,
yourself as
Arabic.
separate.
We are one. We
Original,
are one. Jesus
Okay.
said we
the
are one.
original
Jesus said
Arabic
you are one,
says,
you're all one.
okay,
I
first
am,
of all,
the I am
So,
that is in
You are
you
too.
is the way
Yes.
to the truth and the life. That's the
Okay.
original.
Okay, let's all come back.
Whoops.
Let's all breathe.
Okay.
Okay. So Butterworth starts out by saying, we need to believe about ourselves what Jesus believed about himself. Okay, so that's our anchor here. And that's pretty radical. I'll give you that. That's pretty radical. Yet that's what Jesus was doing here, was role modeling, connecting in a way that we can all watch. And in unity, we refer to Jesus as our way shower. So there's that piece. Somebody had a hand.
Yeah.
Chris, read.
He's only reflecting what we are.
Ah,
Say again?
What?
Jesus reflecting what we are.
Yes.
That's another way. Okay, what I like about what just happened here is this is what goes on in unity. Okay, and this is what unity draws, is these different perspectives and questions. And we're not going to resolve them all this morning, okay, because that's really not what unity does. Unity doesn't really resolve all this for us. It lets us work together to work it through and kind of figure it out. So I am, we had Rick's offering, I am, there's a lot of I am in the Bible. The I am. The I am is our divinity. I am. Okay? So I am. My divinity is the way, the truth, and the life.
Right.
The way, the path, the truth, the life, divine life. Right? So can we hold that divine life? Let's say this together as a we. We are the way, the truth,
and the life.
And again, that doesn't mean we as unity know the only truth, right? We want to be careful about that too, because we hear that sometimes. That's not it. The way, there is one way. And the one way is that divinity that speaks in and through you.
Right.
And that speaks in and through you in different ways.
The
So
divine-
again, it's one of those kind of built-in opposites.
Right.
The one builds the many, because we each are manifestations in our own way of this way, truth, and life. Jesus said, I am the good shepherd. So what's a good shepherd? Cares for others.
Stewardship.
Stewardship.
Protects.
Protects.
Shoots the wolves.
Let's go back to protects. and leads in a gentle way, right? The shepherd walks with the staff. Just leads in a gentle way, not from the back, pushing, prodding, forcing, right? So this idea of a shepherd brings a certain vision to mind. I am the true vine. The true vine. Does anybody have vines in their yards that just sort of take over and don't produce a bloody thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got some of those.
Yeah,
in
we
Arizona.
do.
We've got some of those in various, but we have them in Wisconsin too. Okay. So what's the true vine? We could say the true vine, as the picture here, is a vine that produces fruit, right? Is a vine that produces fruit. So I am the true vine. I'm not just here taking up space, making noise, putting out a whole bunch of green stuff that kills other things because I take over, right? I am the true vine says, I know what I'm about. And I'm here to produce a certain kind of fruit. I'm here to manifest in a certain way. I am the true vine. Each of you are your own true vine, right? So say this with me. I am the true vine. Maybe I am a true vine. Say that.
I am a true vine.
So that we're conscious of what we're doing and what we're about and where our energy goes and what it does. Now, if some of these, if you looked at some of these sentences and said, I need to grow a little bit to really claim this more deeply as my own, if it requires a little transformation in you, just know that you're in the right place. Butterworth says, religion that does not promote transformation is no religion at all. That's really what it's about. And one of the things he also says at the beginning of his book is, he says, in religions, we tend to figure something out, and then hold on to it tightly and worship it forever. Right? And that is so not what unity is about. It's about us figuring out for ourselves, each of us, how does this work in my life? How do I put this on the ground? How do I transform to move forward more? Betty made a comment about the class this morning. And even though the conditions in our lives may not change from class to class, how we perceive those conditions, how we respond to those conditions might change. That's transformation. That's your personal transformation of how you interpret things and respond to them. In our own Unity of Payson mission state, we have the word transforming. It's in there. Unity Worldwide has recently gone through an effort to redefine their vision and mission. I just got this in my email the other day. Here's the mission. Advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity. A positive path for spiritual living. And in the vision, a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. It's all about transformation. When I first walked into a Unity church in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, one of my responses was, I believe this already, why wouldn't I be here? So I just kept coming. But the reason I have kept coming 2 decades later is that word, transformation. Because this is not a static thing in my life. Unity means something different. It translates differently. I put it on the ground differently, depending on where I am, what I'm doing, what my situations are, what my consciousness is. So it's this continual process of transformation. And that's one of the things Eric Butterworth really wants us to bring forward. That this is not static. Our faith is not static in the sense of always having the same interpretation. It will grow as we face challenges and come out of them differently on the other side, right? We come out differently on the other side with a new awareness. No matter what this day will bring to me, there is that in me that is great enough to meet it, overcome it, and be blessed by it. And I would, at this point, I would not use the word overcome it. I would say something like meet it. Right? Oh, he said that already. I'm sorry, he said that already. To meet it, what might we use instead of overcome? Accept it, transform it. There's some other words we can put in there if we want to. But the real key is, and be blessed by it. And be blessed by it. To sit with it and say, how can I bring this into my life in a constructive way that I can be blessed by it? So in the last week, oh, no, I just jumped ahead of myself. Or we have Jack Sparrow saying, the problem is not the problem.
Right.
The problem is your attitude about the problem.
That's right.
Right?
Right, yes.
So we can go to Butterworth, we can go to Jesus, we can go to Jack Sparrow, and we get the same message coming at us, right? It's what we do with it that it's all about. Yosemite climbers headline, tell how bad it hurt, how much they love that rock.
That's right.
Did you see that this week? These two guys made it to the top. I think they were climbing for 3 weeks. And they used only their fingers and toes. The ropes were to help them when they fell back, was to catch them. The ropes were not for climbing. They climbed this almost sheer face. Another climber said it's like climbing the face of a dime. Climbing the sheer face at Yosemite. Now these two guys invited this challenge, right? They invited this challenge. Yet it was maybe a little bit more than they anticipated. And I love this observation, how bad it hurt and how much they love that rock. And doesn't that capture so many challenges in our lives? At the time we go, oh no, what am I going to do with this? I wish this weren't happening. But can we come to love it? Can we come to accept the blessing in our lives that comes from these challenges? So I have a couple more pictures here. That gives you kind of an idea of the flatness and the size of the person. And their fingers at the end were all like worn. They had to stop climbing for a couple of days at different times so that their fingers healed. So, they were just going, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. It's painful at the time, but this is something we've decided to do. And of course, they slept up there too. They strung their tents and they slept up there.
Isn't that amazing?
So sometimes we choose our challenges,
Right.
right? We do. We choose them consciously. Other times, it might be an unconscious thing. And we find ourselves facing a challenge that is in our lap. The same conditions apply. Of looking at it, working through it, and asking, how can this be a blessing to me? Butterworth, you are the activity of God in manifestation. There is no place in all the world where you can get closer to God than where you are right now. Right? Because each one of us is that divinity. Where you are sitting right now in your chair, all the divinity of the world is available to you. My metaphor is always the blinds. Right? We can close them or we can open them. The opportunity of the Spirit, of the divine, of God to manifest through us is there every moment of every day. We get to choose how that's going to come through us and what we're going to do with that. Thank you.